my friends. It is 7:15 p.m. on June 3rd, 2025 on Tuesday. Now, I just uploaded a video about the Via Rail possibly going on strike on June 22nd, which happens to fall on a Sunday. So, I just did a short video with some short text and everything. Yes, the strike could occur on June 22nd on a Sunday, this coming month. There's about 2,400 workers involved in Ontario and Quebec. When I say 2,400 workers, it's from both Ontario and Quebec. Basically, it is Unifor, which is probably the Ontario side, and the FTQ, which is on the Quebec side. FTQ basically is affiliated with the Via Rail and so forth and all that. So yeah, these negotiations are collapsing, and the strike could be very well happening. Well, that's almost too soon. So give them 2 weeks notice when you want to quit a job. Basically, it's about 2 weeks notice, to be honest. Just over 2 weeks. So people can prepare for future trips they booked and get refunds and so forth, or make other plans and arrangements. I am sure there are people out there who have a job opportunity and they have booked tickets for Via Rail for certain trips, family trips and so forth, within Ontario and Quebec, or even the States possibly. But the thing is, Via Rail gave enough notice at least. So it might be in the news, might not. I'm advertising it as well for future preparations. If there is going to be a strike, or there may not be a strike, who knows? We don't know. 50-50 chance, I suppose. How long the strike will last? I guess we don't know. So anyways, I know Via Rail has the normal economy class, which is much more affordable than the business class. Business class are those who want to go for a town or out of town for a job or a business arrangement. Now, those people pay more and they have more advantages compared to the normal economy class, which I have been taking for recreation and vacation only. So, yeah, there are many factors to be concerned with. Like, there are other options if a strike does occur, and people are going to be hustling like crazy just in case there's a strike. Like, if I was working in a business out of town, for instance, or a contract out of town, oh, my hand's cramping up, sorry guys, holding my phone, going through, need electrolytes, and, yeah, it hasn't kicked in yet. However, there are other options should Via Rail go on strike. There's the bus, there's carpooling rides, there's airplane too. The airplane's more expensive, but businesses have to also scurry around trying to reestablish things too, in case they have to bring people to their business. They may have to, Airline Canada, then plane companies are going to be totally booked to the max. It's going to be a big hustle about that. So it's going to be a big fiasco no matter what. Yes, we got a good 3-week time frame to prepare for a possible strike. But at the same time, everyone's going to be hustling. Buses will be booked faster than ever. And those people taking vacation with buses, it's going to be hard to get a vacation too, bus-wise or airplane-wise, for everybody if the strike does occur. Yes, can you imagine? Indeed. Like, if I want to go to, let's say, from Ottawa to Toronto, like, let's say the strike happens on June 22nd, and people who want to go for a trip to see family or take a last-minute trip, like in a week or a few days or that day, to go down to Toronto or another city, after the strike does occur, I imagine it would be very much highly impossible to do that. It would be very, very hard to get a bus ride, to get an airplane ride. If Via Rail goes on strike, buses, airplanes, and everything will be booked to the max. So it'll be very, very tough to get to where you want to go, your destination, if a strike does occur with VRL. So if I want to go, let's say Toronto, one day after a strike occurs, it'd be very difficult for me to book one. I have to book ahead within a week or two, probably, or even a month even. So if I want to go back to Toronto or go to Kingston, whatever, I'm going to have to book and make preparations way ahead of time too, in case a strike does occur. So no matter what, there probably will be a fiasco. The Via Rail is a big company. A lot of people are going from out of town for business and pleasure. There's a big chunk of people traveling for business and pleasure. There's going to be a big chunk and make a big advantage for last minute trips. If you want to take a trip right day, or a few days or a week, it'd be very tough probably. That is my prediction about the strike that may or may not happen. So the thing is, yeah. So that means I'm going to have to have another trip I was planning, but I found out about the strike just after the weekend, upcoming possible strike. So I may have to postpone everything and so forth. That's going to be a pain in the butt. I don't know what's going to happen if I decide to go. You can't go. I won't be able to go last minute, like the same day or next day, probably, if the strike does occur. It'll be very tough for me to get out of town. It'll be very tough to book a room. All the booking applications will be busy as crazy. It's just going to be crazy. Everything's going to be off the wall crazy, no doubt. Especially transportation and so forth. So, yeah. That's the thing I want to talk about right now, about future fiascos that might happen. Nobody will be able, like me, to make last-minute trips at the last minute. I'm kind of spur-of-the-moment traveler, you know, and maybe a day, 24 hours, 48 hours max. That would be very much difficult to do if a strike does occur. So, pop-up people, business people, bosses, booking planes possibly, or diverting things in case a strike does happen. And if a strike doesn't happen, then there's going to be more fiasco switching back, or they might stay with the planes and everything, or whatever. Who knows? It's going to be a big fiasco either way. So, yeah. It's going to be a big fiasco on June 22nd, or even now. It's going to be tough to make any bookings, probably, as the news of the strike is getting known more and more. So that's what I want to talk about right now. This is not a very long stream, just a short little talk about my previous edited video with the music on it and so forth. So I guess good thing I went down to Toronto when I did before this strike news came on. Because if I try to go like I did this past week, spur of the moment kind of thing, it'd be impossible to do, or very, very difficult to do. Now the strike is impending, it'd be tougher to go. So, Meg Witch, take care, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good and safe Tuesday evening.